Section 3.2 is on using parallel lines with transversals. So in 3.1, we talked about what types of angles we have. So your alternate interior, your alternate exterior, your corresponding angles. We talked about all those kind of angles and how we identify them. Today we're going to talk about what can we use them for, what do we know about them, why are they special. So postulate 15 says, corresponding angles postulate is if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal. So notice we have the two red lines here are parallel. You can see by the markings right here. They're cut by this green transversal, line T. Right? If parallel lines are cut by a transversal, the corresponding angles are congruent. That's something we know. Okay, so why is that important? Well, if we know we have parallel lines here, the measure of 3 of the numbered angles is 125. Identify the angles and explain your reasoning. Okay, so if this angle is 125 right here, based on postulate 15, the corresponding angle, so the one that's kind of below and to the right, so angle 7, would equal 125 degrees as well, because corresponding angles are congruent. So I'm going to say parallel lines. I'm going to put an arrow. That means implies, or we know because parallel lines shows that corresponding angles are congruent. So we know that angle 7 is 125 because if the lines are parallel, then the corresponding angles are congruent. We also know that angle 1 is 125. And this is from something earlier this year. Our reasoning for this one is vertical angles are congruent. So angle 1 is a vertical angle with that first 125 degree angle, so we know that angle 1 is also 125. And then lastly, angle 5. So angle 5 equals 125, and there's a couple reasons. I want to say that angle 7 and angle 5 are vertical. So they're vertical angles, so therefore we know that they must be congruent. So that's my reasoning for that one. And you could also say something else, but we're going to go with the vertical angle, corresponding in vertical angles. So those 4 angles that are marked, the red ones, the blue one, and the yellow one, are all 125 degrees. So in the checkpoint, they tell us that the measure of angle 7 is 75 degrees. We want to find the measure of angle 1, the measure of angle 3, and the measure of angle 5. And then we have to explain the reasoning for each angle. So first, let's look at angle 5. What do you notice about angle 5 and angle 7? The measure of angle 5 would be 75 degrees also because vertical angles are congruent. And angle 5 and angle 7 are vertical angles. So angle 5, let me zoom in, is also 75. Okay? We want to find angle 1. What do you notice about angle 1 compared to angle 5? They're both above and to the left of the line. Angle 1's above the top line, angle 5 is above the bottom line. They're both left of the transversal. So we would say the measure of angle 1 is equal to 75 degrees because, let me zoom out, because corresponding angle, so I'm going to say corresponding, oops, let me erase it actually, I forgot one thing. Parallel lines means corresponding angles congruent. So since angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles, they're both 75 degrees. And lastly, angle 3, notice angle 3 and angle 7 are both corresponding angles. So we would say parallel lines implies corresponding angles are congruent. So since 3 and 7 are corresponding and the lines are parallel, we know that 7 and 3 are both congruent, so they're 75 degrees. So corresponding angles are congruent and the vertical angles are congruent. Theorem 3.1 says that if the lines are parallel and they're cut by a transversal, then the alternate interior angles are congruent. So basically, parallel lines implies alternate interior angles congruent, or alternate interior angles are congruent. We got two more theorems right below here. Theorem 3.2. If two lines are cut by a transversal, then the pairs of alternate exterior angles are congruent. So parallel lines, again, if you know the lines are parallel, you can conclude that the alternate exterior angles are congruent. And then last one says that if two lines are parallel and they're cut by a transversal, then the pairs of consecutive interior angles are supplementary. So parallel lines implies, I'm going to say CON for consecutive interior angles supplementary, which means like angle 3 and angle 5 would add up to 180. Okay? So let's look at example 2. It says find the value of x. Use the properties of parallel lines. So we see that these lines are parallel. Let's identify what type of angles are these. So you would see that these are alternate exterior angles. So we know that parallel lines implies alternate exterior angles are congruent. So we can conclude that those angles are congruent to each other. That means we could say 113 equals 3x minus 4. Okay, then we're going to solve for x. So we add 4 to both sides. We get 117 equals 3x. How do we get rid of a times 3? You would divide by 3. And 117 divided by 3 is 39. So x equals 39. Example 3, solve a real-world problem. A taxiway is being constructed that intersects two parallel runways. So we're saying that these runways are parallel. You know that the measure of angle 2 is 98 degrees. That's 98 degrees. What is the measure of angle 1 and how do you know? Well, what kind of angles are these? Are they inside or outside? So these are inside the two parallel lines. These are alternate interior angles. So we would say parallel lines implies alternate interior angles are congruent. So we'd say the measure of angle 1 is also equal to 98 degrees because they're alternate interior angles and the parallel lines would imply that they are congruent. Checkpoint 2, find the value of x. Okay, so right now, we don't know what special angles these are. This angle and this angle, they're not corresponding. They're not alternate interior, alternate exterior. We have no idea. So what we can do is find out, since this angle right here and this angle are vertical angles, we know that vertical angles are congruent. So they both would be 3x minus 7. So now the two angles that we circled are a special angle pair because we have our parallel lines. Those are both inside the parallel lines, and notice they're on the same side of the transversal. So these would be consecutive interior or same side interior angles. So we would say parallel lines implies consecutive interior angles congruent. So therefore, I screwed that up. Consecutive interior angles are supplementary, not congruent. My mistake. So these angles are not congruent. This is the one pair, the consecutive interior angles, they are not congruent. They are supplementary. So we would do 3x minus 7 plus x plus 5 equals 180. So almost every pair of these angles ends up being congruent except for the consecutive interior angles. Those add up to 180. So on the left side, if you combine 3x and x, we get 4x. Negative 7 and positive 5 is a minus 2. So 4x minus 2 equals 180. If you add 2, 4x equals 182. Then divide by 4. X equals, and then 182 divided by 4 is 45.5. Okay, and then the very last checkpoint. It says, in example 3, suppose angle 3 is the consecutive interior angle with angle 2. So suppose that up here, these angles were consecutive interior angles. What is the measure of angle 3? Well, what we would know is parallel lines implies consecutive interior angles are supplementary. So that means angle 2 plus angle 3 equals 180. So in example 3, angle 2 was 98 degrees. So it'll be 98 plus angle 3 equals 180. Minus 98. We will get angle 3 equals 88. So angle 3 will be 88 degrees. Whoops, I can't do math. That's not 88, that'd be 82. 82 degrees. Because consecutive interior angles would add up to 180. They're not congruent. Okay, so those are the special angle pairs we have, and that's what we know about them when the lines are parallel.